Tensions continue to escalate in occupied East Jerusalem as Israeli far-right minister Itamar Ben-Gvir led thousands of Israelis under heavy police protection into the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound on Tuesday to mark a Jewish holiday. Despite religious rites being banned at the site, Ben-Gvir performed prayers and vowed to defeat Hamas in Gaza. The Al-Aqsa Mosque, a significant site for both Muslims and Jews, has increasingly become a flashpoint in the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, violence surged in the West Bank as Israeli settlers held marches across the region. Palestinian authorities report over 624 Palestinian deaths and thousands of displaced in the West Bank since the war on Gaza began in October. The situation further escalated earlier on Tuesday when Israeli forces killed a young Palestinian man during raids in Ramallah. Observers note that Israel appears to be using the focus on Gaza to intensify action in the West Bank and change the status quo in East Jerusalem. In Gaza, the conflict continues to take a devastating toll. An Al Jazeera investigation strongly suggests that Israel's attack on Al Tabeen school in Gaza City, which killed over 100 Palestinians, was deliberately timed to maximize civilian casualties. Just last night, an Israeli airstrike on a home in eastern Khan Yunis killed at least 10 people and wounded several others. The overall death toll in Israel's war on Gaza now stands at 39,929, with 92,240 people wounded. As violence persists, a rocket fired from Gaza landed in the Sea of Tel Aviv, marking Hamas's first attack on the city in months. Hamas has urged the US, Qatar, and Egypt to submit a plan to implement the ceasefire proposal put forward by President Joe Biden instead of holding further rounds of negotiations. In a surprising turn of events, former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has distanced himself and his party PTI from the recently arrested ex-ISI chief Lieutenant General retired Faiz Hamid. Speaking through his lawyer, Khan described the situation as an internal issue of the army, stressing that PTI has no connection to it. This development comes after General Hamid's arrest was announced by the army on Monday, marking a significant shift in the country where military figures have traditionally been seen as untouchable. The arrest follows allegations by a private housing society owner, highlighting the ongoing tensions within Pakistan's powerful military establishment. In another development, Pakistan is raising alarms internationally over repeated incidents of nuclear and radioactive material theft in India. The Foreign Office expressed serious concerns after the recent arrest of 3 individuals in Bihar with radioactive californium valued at 8.5 billion rupees. This incident is not isolated. Similar cases have occurred in the past, particularly in 2021, casting doubt on India's ability to secure such dangerous materials. Pakistan is calling for a thorough investigation and urging India to prevent future breaches. The international community too is seeking answers from India on how these materials continue to end up in the wrong hands. Meanwhile, the monsoon season has wreaked havoc across South Asia, claiming the lives of 178 people in Pakistan alone, with most deaths caused by collapsing homes. The broader region has also been severely affected, with over 400 lives lost, including 250 in India and 171 in Nepal, due to relentless flooding and landslides. Experts are warning that climate change is exacerbating these natural disasters despite contributing less than 1% to global emissions. Pakistan remains highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. The threat is far from over as heavy rains continue to batter the region. Russian forces have intensified their offensive, launching a series of missile, drone, and airstrike attacks against Ukrainian troops. According to a senior Russian commander, these actions have succeeded in halting Ukraine's advance. The escalation marks a significant development as Russia seeks to regain control over territory and counter Ukraine's recent movements. In response to the heightened conflict, Ukraine has imposed restrictions on civilian movement within a 20-kilometer, 12.4-mile zone in northeastern region bordering Russia. This measure comes as Ukrainian forces continue their surprise offensive, which has been ongoing for a week, aiming to push deeper into Russian-held territory. The situation on the ground remains tense as Russian forces have ramped up their attacks on the Pokrovsk front in eastern Ukraine. Over the last 24 hours, Ukrainian military officials have reported the highest number of battles in the area in a week. The increased intensity of fighting underscores the ongoing struggle and strategic significance of this front in the broader conflict. A court in Dhaka, Bangladesh has opened a murder investigation into former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and six top officials over the police killing of a man during protests. The case was accepted on Tuesday after a suit was filed by private citizen Amir Hamza, who cited the police shooting of grocer Abu Saeed on July 19th. Saeed was killed during a crackdown on demonstrators protesting job quotas in Dhaka's Mohammadpur area. Hamza, who is not related to Saeed, filed the case due to the family's financial constraints, blaming Hasina for the police action. The court also named former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan, Awami League General Secretary Ubaidul Qadir, and four former police officers. This case is the first against Hasina amid ongoing unrest that has claimed over 300 lives and accusations of widespread human rights abuses. Meanwhile, Hasina has called for an investigation into the protests that led to her resignation and departure from Bangladesh. Through a statement released by her son, she demanded that those responsible for violence and vandalism be identified and punished. Hasina fled to India on August 5th, and Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus has recently taken office as the head of Bangladesh's interim government ahead of upcoming elections.